Welcome to another episode of Globetrotting 5. In this episode, we are going to discuss the increasing attacks on commercial shipping in the Black Sea region. Now, if you have been following the news coming out of Ukraine over the last few weeks, you will know that Russia has increased its attacks on commercial shipping in the Black Sea region. This affects shipping related to Ukraine and also third-party shipping related to other countries. Now, why is this important? This is important because the Black Sea region provides an important maritime corridor for Ukrainian exports. And particularly in this case, we're talking about Ukrainian wheat exports, which form a large chunk of Ukraine's overall agricultural exports. In fact, Ukraine typically supplies 7 to 10% of global wheat exports in a peaceful year. That number has been affected because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the ongoing Russian aggression. However, Ukraine still remains a critical supplier of wheat for the world, especially for the countries of the global south that depend on this Ukrainian wheat. But Russia, all of a sudden, in the last few weeks, has ramped up its attacks on Ukrainian commercial shipping in the Black Sea region. Now, let me be clear: Russia never stopped attacking, Ukrainian commercial shipping. Right from the beginning of the full-scale invasion in February 2022, Russia has gone after the shipping lanes in the Black Sea region and also after Ukrainian ports handling Black Sea shipping. So it never truly, stopped the attacks. However, there was a lull, starting from September 2022 till about August, September 2023, when the Black Sea Grain Initiative was worked out between Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, and the UN. So this kind of created a framework under which Ukrainian commercial shipping was given protection to ply the sea lanes in the Black Sea region. However, Russia pulled out of the Black Sea Grain Initiative in 2023, and that forced Ukraine to find alternatives. Those alternatives essentially boil down to the Ukrainian Navy creating its own sort of maritime corridor in the Black Sea to allow Ukrainian shipping, and particularly the shipping of Ukrainian wheat, to continue through this corridor, and also rely more on river connections and river systems in Europe to push out Ukrainian grains. But Russia, continued, as I said, continued attacking Ukrainian shipping coming out of Ukrainian ports, particularly the ports in the Odessa region. And what we see in the last few weeks is that there has been an intensification of the Russian attacks on Ukrainian commercial shipping and Ukrainian ports. Now, what could explain this sudden intensification of Russian attacks on commercial shipping in the Black Sea region and attacks on Ukrainian ports, particularly in the Odessa region? One explanation that is being proffered is that since Ukraine has itself intensified attacks on Russia's shadow fleet of vessels that transport sanctioned Russian oil, Russia is retaliating by targeting commercial shipping linked to Ukraine. But this is a false equivalence because Russian oil, as we all know, is sanctioned. It is sanctioned by the EU, it is sanctioned by the US. Of course, the US, keeps giving them a waiver from time to time. But we recently had, the US Senate pass a Russian sanction bill that specifically targets Russian energy exports by slapping up to 100% tariff on those countries, the top five countries that import Russian energy products. So yes, so overall, Russian energy is a sanctioned product because it helps fund Russian war machinery, Russia's war machinery. So it's a sanctioned product, and of course, Russia is the aggressor in this war. It is Russia that has invaded Ukraine. It is Russia that continues to bomb Ukrainian civilian infrastructure day in and day out. It is Russia that occupies Ukrainian territory illegally. So Russia is the aggressor here. Ukraine, on the other hand, by attacking, the shadow fleet, Russia's shadow fleet that illegally transports Russian oil, is imposing its own sanction on Russian energy, so that the amount of money that Russia earns through the export of its energy products is reduced, and that in turn means less money for Russia's war machinery. So there is no equivalence here. The people who are trying to kind of say that Ukraine is attacking Russian vessels carrying Russian energy products, so Russia is retaliating by targeting, commercial shipping in the Black Sea linked to Ukraine, particularly those related to the export of Ukrainian agricultural products. But this kind of an equivalence is false. It's completely false because Russia is the aggressor, Ukraine is the victim. Moreover, this situation presents a serious problem for India because, as we all know, that India provides a very large number of ship hands and seafarers. So the commercial ships that are operating in the Black Sea naturally have a lot of Indian seamen, and they are now in the line of fire. They have been targeted by the Russian attacks, and we had the incident of the attacks on the vessel MV Golden Leo earlier this month, in which four Indian ship hands actually died in that attack, and the Ministry of External Affairs of India actually summoned the Russian charge d'affaires to protest against that particular incident. Uh, Similarly, there have been some incidents of attack in the Black Sea where they found, evidence of Ukrainian drones, and subsequently, the Ukrainian ambassador to India was summoned by the Ministry of External Affairs of India to protest in that particular incident. But the overall issue here is that Indian seafarers are now in the line of fire with the increasing attacks in the Black Sea region, and most of the attacks are coming from Russia. In fact, the vast majority of the attacks are coming from Russia because Russia is ramping up attacks in the Black Sea, because of the current dynamics in the war. So the situation is actually very dangerous at the moment for Indian seafarers operating on commercial vessels in the Black Sea region. But interestingly, the Indian authorities have put out advisories, uh, which are a little bit confusing. And why I say they are confusing is because they have put out one advisory regarding, shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf. Now, we all know that shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has also been attacked since the war between US and Israel and Iran broke out in February this year. Iran has constantly attacked commercial shipping in that critical waterway, in the Strait of Hormuz, and has choked the supply of global energy coming out of that region, in West Asia. So there has been a clear uh, advisory which has been issued by Indian authorities with respect to the Persian Gulf, wherein the Indian authorities advise the concerned parties to not deploy Indian seamen and Indian ship hands, on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz or the Persian Gulf. But in the Black Sea region, there is no such explicit advisory to prevent Indian ship hands being deployed on commercial vessels operating in the Black Sea, which is inexplicable, because the situation in the Black Sea region is as dangerous as the situation in the Persian Gulf. However, so far, the Indian authorities have not issued the same advisory in the case of the Black Sea region, which they have in the case of the Persian Gulf region. In the Persian Gulf region, they have advised concerned parties not to deploy Indian ship hands on commercial vessels in the Persian Gulf region, but there is no such advisory when it comes to Indian ship hands operating on commercial vessels in the Black Sea region. So this is a bit of a dilemma. I mean, it's confusing as to why authorities so far have taken different positions on the two conflict theaters, even though they are equally risky. But overall, the point is that both in the Russian aggression against Ukraine and in the Israel-US war against Iran, there is clear weaponization of commercial sea lanes, and this is very disturbing, very concerning, because if you weaponize critical waterways, critical sea lanes, then you disrupt global trade, global trade in critical products like energy products, in agriculture, and that disrupts the whole global economy, and it seriously affects the lives of people across the world. Like uh, the rise in energy prices due to Iran's disruption of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has led to serious economic pain across the world. Similarly, Russia's attacks, increasing intensified attacks against commercial shipping in the Black Sea region, is creating a potential food crisis. Something we saw in the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion, but then it sort of eased out. We are again seeing early signs of a food crisis, global food crisis, where food prices, particularly wheat prices, are increasing, and like one report said that they have already increased by almost 60%. This is a matter of serious concern, and if the shipping in the Black Sea region continues to be disrupted by Russia, then several countries in the global south, particularly those in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, they will suffer due to acute shortage of food. So this weaponization of commercial shipping lanes of critical waterways by Iran in the Persian Gulf and Russia in the Black Sea region is a matter of serious concern. And now that they have done it, the fear is that other countries will follow suit. I mean, what is to stop, let's say, China from imposing similar conditions in critical waterways in East Asia? China can easily do that, with its vast navy. They can impose embargoes. They can block commercial shipping, in the East China Sea, uh, even in the South China Sea. So who's going to stop them? Because the precedent has already been set by Iran in the Persian Gulf and Russia in the Black Sea. So this is very, very problematic, and the global community must think hard as to how to come to this. It cannot be allowed that one country holds the entire world ransom just by disrupting a critical commercial sea lane. This is a matter of serious concern. It needs greater deliberation. It needs mechanisms so that it can be countered. So it is a grave situation indeed for the global economy, and solutions as of now remain elusive. But the international community needs to come together to find a solution. Otherwise, a very, very dangerous precedent has been created in the Persian Gulf and in the Black Sea by Russia in the Black Sea, by Iran in the Persian Gulf, and this needs an answer. It needs a solution. With that, I would like to end this episode of Globetrotting 5. See you in the next one.